Welcome to my channel, friends. Today we will see the alternative for VPN client if you're using Juniper firewalls like Juniper SRX or Netscreen Firewall. So let's start this session. Okay, so this is my topology, very simple. This is the client which is supposed to get connected to the SRX device so that it can access the resources which is behind the SRX firewall. Okay, so the reason why I switched to a new VPN client, like you can see here, is simply because I'm not able to use the ShrewSoft client anymore because there is no official document from Juniper stating that the ShrewSoft client is supported with the latest firmware, the SRX platform. So I was browsing everything that I can find in the internet, and then I came across this VPN client, which is the GreenBow VPN client, compatible with multiple platforms and works like charm. So let's get started. The topology is like this. 102 is my client machine, should get connected to my SRX, which is internal interface. 200 on untrust zone. External interface is 200, 14.140.40, 200, which is the public IP. And my intention is to get the access of this public IP once I get connected to the SRX firewall. Okay, so let's get started. Let me show you the configuration on the SRX device. So it is pretty simple, like the way you normally configure the dynamic VPN, the same way I've configured it. It's in aggressive mode, policy P1, and then the dynamic. This is the UFQDN, the email. Connection limit is 2, and I'm using shared IC ID. The external interface is gig00. Let me show you the interface IPs. So you can see here, this is the interface which is receiving the IC negotiation, and this is the interface that is connecting my external server, which is 14.140.40.x. This is 40.200. Okay, so this is the phase 1 configuration, and you can see here I've created an access profile for the XAuth authentication, and the XAuth profile name is access profile. Let me show you the phase 2 as well. So this is the phase 2 configuration. You can see here ESP3600 gateway. Okay, so this is the security policy. Since we are using dynamic VPN, so we are supposed to have the VPN mentioned in the action. You can see here. So we are supposed to hit this policy, which is from untrust to trust. Okay. And let me show you the access profile that I've created for the XAuth. So you can see here, I have mentioned that the XAuth access profile is the access profile. So this is the XAuth access profile where I've created a client named my name, and then I've given that it should get the IP address 192.168.0.102. Okay, so this is the password, which is in hashed format, since the firewall will not show you up the exact password. And this is the pool that I've created. So in the pool, if you see, I've given the low IP as 01, high as 010, and the DNS attribute is 8.8.8.8. Okay. Okay, so we don't have any phase one. Okay, so I've disconnected the VPN. Now I'll go to the VPN client, which is GreenBow VPN client, and it works like charm. So if you see here, this is my gateway, IKE version 1 gateway, and under authentication, this is the interface from where I'll get connected to the SRX. This is the SRX internal interface IP 0.200, like I showed you in this. And then the pre-shared key should match the configuration on the SRX. And you can see here, I've enabled the XAuth. This is my username, and this is the password that I configured under the XAuth. Let me show you one more time the access profile that I created. You can see here, I've created a firewall user, and this is the password. And then the proposal. Let me show you the proposal that I have. So this is the proposal, group 2 SHA test CPC 28800. You can see here dash SHA1 group 2. Protocol. You can see here, since I have configured the remote ID as this, so I have mentioned here in local ID. Okay, remote ID, I don't have configured it on the firewall, so I don't require it. And in additional feature, I've given that the IKE negotiation should happen over the UDP protocol with source port destination port as 500. And when there is any NAT device in between, it should switch to 4500, which in my case is not there. This is the aggressive mode you can see here. And NAT T is set to automatic. And by the way, this is the lifetime that I just showed you in the configuration. So DPD interval certificate I'm not using. So this is all about the phase one. And if you go to phase two, so this is the VPN client address. Since I'm not going to change my client IP, so I'm going to explicitly mention the client IP as 102. But I have mentioned that the user should get 102 in the configuration of XOT. Well, we are not getting the IP. You can see here. Well, with this client, what I can see here is it does not support the I pull, I push, or DHCP or IPsec, I believe. I'm yet to explore this piece of software, so I'll keep you posted. I'll make multiple videos on this particular client. Anyways, so this is the phase two configuration. You can see the remote address as 14.140.4200. So whatever IP you mention here, the system is going to insert a static route for this IP in your system so that only traffic towards that IP gets to the firewall using the tunnel that you will establish. This is the phase two proposal. Let me show you. Dash 3600 SHA-1 dash SHA-1 tunnel mode. EFS is not available. 3600 advanced setting. I am not using any advanced settings here, and I'm not monitoring anything. You can see here no settings whatsoever in these three columns. So we are good. Let me connect. You can see here the GreenBow client was successfully able to initiate the negotiation and the VPN is up. So now I'll check the status. So you can see here the phase one is active with the client IP 102. Phase two is active. As of now, you can see here. So this is the session for the negotiation ISACamp. And now I'll show you whether I'm able to ping the IP 200, which is the firewall external interface. You can see here, I'm able to ping, and I'll show you here also. You can see here the session for ICMP. So this proves that the traffic is flowing via the tunnel, and I'm able to reach the IP address, which is the external interface in my case, this particular IP. And then if I want to access this, then this can also be achieved, because in my security policy I have mentioned the IP address 200, so I'll only be able to access that. I'll not be able to access the server. But if I edit the policy, I will be able to access the subnet, which is in 14.140.40 range. Let me show you the policy. So you can see here the policy where action is tunnel. Okay. So the destination address is INET. Okay, so it's INT. You can see the address book that I've created here, which is for the public IP on the external interface. If I want, then I can edit this and have 40/24 so that I can have the entire access of the subnet or the IP that falls in the subnet. But then I don't want that. And you can see I'm still able to ping it. So I'll disconnect it to show you. As soon as I disconnect, it should time out. And if you're wondering why am I not using the ShrewSoft client, then this is the reason why I'm not using the ShrewSoft client. So the configuration is kind of different if you compare both the client software. So the IP address same. This is an IK push. Okay. And I've given obtain automatically IP address on the virtual interface that this client will create. NAT traversal enable 4500, keep live, fragmentation enabled, DPD enabled, nothing configured here. Authentication, well, this is the ID that I've configured on the SRX, the same way what I have configured here. Remote identity, I don't have any configured. Credential, this is the pre-shared key. Phase 1, aggressive group 2 des 28800. Phase 2, ESP-SHA disable. No PFS, no compression, 3600. And here you will have to manually specify which traffic should get into the tunnel. So for that, you have to explicitly mention the IP address 14.140.40.200 in my case and 8.8.8. So this is exactly the same thing that we have here. You can see here. So here I have only one IP. Here I have two IP. So let me connect. Okay, I believe the username is okay. So the username is Sumit. I'm going to use this. I'm going to give the password that I configured for this particular user. So you can see here the tunnel is established, but then it'll time out after 58 or 60 seconds. You can see here the ping resumed, but then the issue with ShrewSoft client is that it times out the connection after 58 seconds, which is kind of not cool. So I switched from ShrewSoft client to the GreenBow client, which is not free, by the way. It is the paid client machine, sorry, the client software. But then I am recommending this piece of VPN client to most of my clients who really don't want to use NCP or Pulse Secure, which is officially supported by the Juniper devices. So you can see here it automatically disconnects itself after 58 or 60 seconds. I'll show you one more time. So now it is connected. 235. You can see here exactly after 58 seconds, it is disconnecting itself, which obviously is not required, or we cannot afford this in your network. So if you don't want to use the NCP client or Pulse Secure client, then you can use this particular VPN client, which is, by the way, not documented in Juniper website for the device, but then it really works like charm. So you can use this piece of software. And one more thing is this VPN client is not free. This is a paid one. Well, if you want to try this, you can use it for 30 days. And then post that, you will have to buy the license. And this client supports multiple gateway, like 40 gate, and I guess it too supports some other devices as well. Let's try to check on their website. Do they have anything mentioned? Okay, so these are the gateways that they support. So obviously they have listed most of the networking giant, Precom, Barracuda, Firewall, Cisco, CyberRoam, D-Link, SOHO, Juniper devices, SRX, and you can find the documentation as well. I believe it supports Microsoft's as well. If you have VPN terminated on Windows, Netgear, Netscreen, Juniper Netscreen device as well. OpenVPN is also supported. Palo Alto Networks is also, so pretty much covered here. So whatever firewall you have in the industry, most of the firewall is listed here, so you can make use of this VPN client if you're facing any issues, or if you don't want to use the recommended VPN client. By the way, this is universal client where you can use a single client to get connected to multiple VPN gateway. All right, guys, so that's all for today. I hope you really enjoyed the video, and please do subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for more updates. Stay safe. Stay tuned. Bye bye.